This is Changemakers with Katie Gore, finding the right solutions for the affordable housing community.
I'm back again with Changemaker Shaundra Clark, the Executive Director of the Tifton Housing Authority. We've been talking about her impressive 30-year career working to improve housing conditions and help people in need in southern Georgia. Shaundra, you were recently president of the regional chapter of the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials, or NAHRO. Could you tell us some more about the key achievements or pivotal events that happened during your time as president?
The most pivotal moment for me was being able to award the Lifetime Membership Award to our past president, Tina Akers Brown, one of the past presidents. She's my mentor. She's the reason that I became an officer for SERC. She invited me to be a part of the organization as an emerging leader, but at the time it was called 40 Under 40, and she offered me the opportunity, along with the nominations committee, to become an officer and move through the ranks. So being able to give her that Lifetime Member Award was phenomenal for me. Also, each year, NAHRO has the August Advocacy Month, and this year, our region submitted 18,400 letters out of the 45,000 that were submitted. So that was pivotal for us as a region. We submitted 41% of the letters that were sent from the entire nation. So that's pivotal. Now, with respect to development, we have committees. We have the Asset Repositioning Committee, which does just what we were talking about previously. Try to find mechanisms by which we can reposition our assets. Because as I mentioned, my oldest property is 70 years old. There's something that's going to have to be done. And that committee seeks the best way to do that and make sure that housing authorities have that information.
What a great way to leverage yourself within the region to find out what other people are doing and how to make this happen. And I want to step back here and give a shout out to you guys for 41% of the nation's advocacy efforts. That's amazing. Tell us a little more about that, because that is really a way to get your voice heard, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So our legislative chair, Yvonne Bean, she's from the Columbia, South Carolina Housing Authority. She leads this committee, and she was pivotal in the efforts to get the word out. Please submit your letters. Please talk to your congressman. Meet with them. Encourage others. Get your family members to send letters. If housing means something to them, please get them involved. And so we talked about it. We talked at our last conference in June. We taught people how to send those letters in. Make sure, you know how to do it. It's a very simple process. And we just made sure people knew that process.
I should have known that Yvonne Bean was behind this impressive turnout, right? She's a powerhouse, so shout out to her. Speaking of the advocacy approach, for people who are listening on this podcast who maybe are in private sector or development areas, they don't realize the type of advocacy that has to happen from your chair and your seat. So what exactly are you trying to accomplish with that August Advocacy Month? What are you telling people? Who are you telling? Just give us all the details there.
Okay. So each week during the month, NAHRO develops a letter. And each letter has a different subject. The subject may be housing vouchers. It may be public housing. May be making sure that there is funding. So we make sure that everybody is aware. The purpose is to let our representatives know where we stand and what we need. We send the letters to our congressmen. We send the letters to our 2 senators and to the White House. So they are aware. Their staff is aware of what our needs are.
Since we're talking about NAHRO here, just to kind of follow that thread along, you were designated as a NAHRO Fellow, I read. Very impressive. What did that honor mean to you?
Well, let me give you the backstory. I was sitting at a table with several of my colleagues, and it just so happened that particular day, each one of them was a fellow. And I was just sitting there thinking, what an impressive group of people these folks are. And about the things they've done, because I kind of know some of the projects that they've worked on, and it's just amazing. And just a few short hours there, one of the fellows mentioned to me that they wanted to nominate me from the Southeastern region to become a fellow. And I was floored. And so needless to say, it was very important to me. But this honor gives me the opportunity to share information with others. Each year we have an executive director boot camp at the NAHRO conference, and we provide information to new directors. This year, I sat on a panel to discuss developing non-federal revenue streams because, as we know, the fair cloth limit is out there. HUD is limited in their funding. And so we've got to develop non-federal revenue streams. So I sat on a panel to discuss this information. Last year, I sat on a panel to discuss director-board relations because that's important. You have to be able to meet with your board and to be able to share information with them. And what's the best way to keep those communication lines open?
When you sit on a panel like that, you really get to mold and change policies and perceptions and strategies, don't you?
Yes. That is the opportunity. The folks that are in the room can ask questions. You can tell them how you did it and what are best practices. That's really the bottom line.
I want to highlight something here because you're being modest in this description. When you were designated as a NAHRO Fellow, you were only the second African-American woman, according to NAHRO's information, to be designated as a NAHRO Fellow. Tell us what that means. And even in your representation as president in SERC's 80-year history, you served in a crucial moment. These are great monumental milestones, but I want to hear what that means for you.
That means that other women who look like me can do it too. That's what I want them to know when they see me standing on the stage, that you can do this too. And I am willing to share information to help you get there as well.
We started the podcast talking about women empowerment, and here is an excellent example of how you're doing that. And I love that you're here on the Changemakers podcast, spreading that possibility and that leadership so many people will hear the passion in your voice as you talk about it. A couple of other things as we close out here. We've been talking about Tifton, we've talked about Georgia, we've talked about rural housing and policy and all of these different pieces here. And NAHRO obviously having a hand in what you're advancing for your community. When we talk about Tifton and we talked about housing, you mentioned a couple of things about how you're working within the community. Give us some more examples of really how you and your team are going out into the community and advancing affordable housing.
Okay, so the other day, just as an example, the Chamber of Commerce held a job fair. Now, I went expecting just to meet folks who are interested in work. However, I ended up talking with contractors. I ended up speaking with one of the local cable companies about the possibility of Wi-Fi, and just met with them today about possibilities. So just recently, the Chamber of Commerce held a job fair, and we've been advertising for positions, and it's just been difficult to get applications in. So I went to the job fair along with one of my colleagues, and number one, was able to get several highly qualified applicants for the position, but also I got the opportunity to meet with the folks from True Vista, and they talked about their potential opportunities for Wi-Fi for our residents. Also got a chance to meet contractors who can provide some other needs that we have. So that's just one of the many partnerships that we have. We are chamber members. One of the other things that I'm very proud of, we have a partnership with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. It's actually a 4-year college here in town. And each year they have an entertainment series. And we have a partnership with them and McDonald's. They pay for 15 season tickets for our kids, as well as for 2 chaperones. So it gives them the opportunity to get the cultural side of the town. We have each year, I think they have 4 parts of the entertainment series, as well as their first Tuesday. So our kids get the opportunity to participate with that.
Tell us also about your Rotary involvement, because you've been a president at the Tifton Rotary, and I think that some housing authorities get, and this is just personal opinion here, so I'm going on a tangent, but I think some housing authorities sort of stay internalized and all within the industry groups that are the common big ones, but they overlook these key pieces like the chamber and Rotary that we're getting ready to mention. So I'm so glad to see you're still involved in those. Tell us more about your Rotary involvement.
Yes, I believe in 2017, I was elected president of the club, and it gives you the opportunity to let folks know what you're doing at the housing authority. Also, gives me an opportunity to meet with other speakers. The speakers come in from different aspects of the community, and they talk about what they're doing. And so I get the opportunity to talk with them, build a potential partnership.
And you guys also established a scholarship, correct?
Yes. That was in honor of Dr. Leon Benefield. He had been the district governor, as well as president of our local Rotary Club. And so we thought that was a good honor for him. He was, in fact, moving out of town. He had retired. And so we thought that was a great honor for him, as well as a great opportunity for a student at ABAC.
Your own legacy and your leadership is really making an imprint, and not just in Tifton, but potentially in the scholarship holders, the residents, the community. We are so impressed that you have taken the time to be on Changemakers. Anything else you want to add before we close out?
Just thank you for the opportunity. It's been great speaking with you, Katie. If anyone has any questions, they are welcome to contact me.
Thank you so much. It's been great to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Changemakers with Katie Gore. To find out more about Katie, go to quadel.com. That's QUADEL.com. This has been a production of Forbes Books Radio.